Hello and welcome back to another Nitecore store headlamp overview. Today we're going to be looking at the newest headlamp from Nitecore, the UT27. This upgrade to the UT27 promises a new look, a 300 lumen improvement over its predecessor, and it also throws light a whole lot farther. And then as always, please make sure to like and subscribe as it really helps out the channel, and let's go ahead and check this light out. So what's included with your purchase? Well, first, I really like the packaging itself. It's made out of cardboard, which makes me feel outdoorsy as this is a trail running headlamp, and it's recyclable, which is always a good thing. As for what's inside that packaging, we have the UT27 with a pre-installed HLB13000 battery. However, this light is also compatible with AAA batteries. And then if you get the upgraded Pro package, it comes with another HLB13000 for even longer runs. And then as well as that, you have the headband itself. It's actually able to come off. That's why you have these little slits here. But it also comes pre-installed onto the bracket. And then as well as that, you have the diffusion stuff sack, which you can see B-roll of me using right now. I really like the fact that they include this because not only can I use it as a lantern, but I can pack all this stuff into it and it just cinches down into a bag. So this is very useful. And then as well, you have the USB-C to USB-C charging cable. So no USB-A, it's USB-C to USB-C. And then you also have your paperwork over here. The warm LED on our left side is going to have a color index of 3000 Kelvin, and then the white light on our right is going to have a color index of 6500 Kelvin. And for those of you asking why have two colors of light, it's because they serve different purposes. Light treats our eyes and treats the environment differently. So the warm light is better for cutting through fog and having a higher contrast, whereas the white light is better for making things appear more bright, as well as emulating daylight better, making you more alert, which I would imagine would be good while you're on a trail run. And then here at the top of the headlamp, you have the W for white light, and so turning that on will give you your cool white light, and then Y for yellow, which will give you your yellow warm light, like that. And then you can see that the Y is stuck up above the button, and then the W is below, which I really like because that means that neither of the buttons are fully flush. So even if you're not looking at it, you can tell which button is which. And it's kind of hard to show you on camera, but the physical buttons themselves are also inside the letters. So the button for the right side, the warm light, is higher than the button for the white light. It's more recessed into the light, whereas this button is actually sticking up. So it makes it super easy to feel which light you're going to access, even if you can't physically see the top of the light. And then here at the bottom, you can see these 4 holes, and these are actually your power indicators. So you can hit either one of these buttons up here just once, and it'll come to life. And you can see I have 4 bars, so it's at full power. I had to turn the lights off in here to show you this feature, but as you can clearly tell, the battery compartment is glow in the dark. And because there's indicators in the compartment themselves to show the positioning of either the HLB13000 or your AAA batteries, having it all be glow in the dark is super helpful for people who need to just change their batteries super quick and then continue to hit the trail. The bracket that comes with this headlamp is very breathable as it has this honeycomb pattern right here, meaning that you have a lot of airflow coming in. And then as well as that, the bracket is adjustable up to 90 degrees down, so that way you can, have lighting at any angle you want. And then of course you have this signature perforated Nitecore headband with this little silicone banding inside, so that way it's super grippy to your head and won't be moving around. A lot of companies recently have started using this style of headband, and honestly, I'm such a big fan. As someone who gets headaches a lot from using headbands, it's a very welcome change as it's super breathable. And then all these decals on the side of the headband are actually very reflective, these little silver gray parts. I have the lighting actually set up to where it won't reflect back into the camera because I don't want to hurt the camera or your eyes, but rest assured you will be seen on the trail. And then as for my personal thoughts on this light, first of all, I really like the marketing and the packaging as it's recyclable, which is always a plus in my book. And the cardboard just makes it feel very earthy, very trail runny. And then as well as that, they've been including Scotty Hawker and all of their stuff, and man, as you can see, it's hard to make a headlamp look good, and he somehow does it. So shout outs to him and all of our Nitecore trail runners. I also think that the light is exceedingly practical as it has a good mix of warm and white outputs, as well as having red light. So no matter what the situation you're in, there is a light for you on this headlamp. Also, as you can see from all the beam shots I have this light, it's a good uniform floodlight. There's not a massive hot spot, but I can always see by my feet. The bracket means that I can adjust it to whatever angle I want, but the flood just makes it to where I can see all around me and I can see where I'm going. And as someone who is an amateur runner and an even more amateur trail runner at that, it's really nice to have a super simple UI. Being able to feel up here and know what light I'm going to turn on when, and being able to instantly access turbo no matter what mode the light's in. I just have to double click it while it's on. Even if the red light's on, I can access turbo by double clicking it, giving turbo super easy access, super quick access whenever you're running. Everything just seems super thought out in this light. Instant red light is also very nice just in case you're using this as a camping light, so that way you're not waking anyone up. And then as well as that, making sure that you get as long a runtime as you can if you're using this as a signal light to someone. And then on the same page as signaling, this actually has pretty good runtimes. Again, it's not as much as the original UT27, which makes me a little bit upset, but honestly, I take a little bit more brightness over a little bit more runtime in my book, especially because the battery is replaceable. And then also, whenever having this light slide across my desk, I had no clue what a stuff sack is. But now having one and being able to use my headlamp as a lantern and be able to pack stuff away into the stuff sack, it's a game changer, and I wouldn't want a headlamp without it now. So looking at the UT27 and then the UT27 800 Lumen edition, what's the difference? Well, first, obviously, this has more output. This has 800 lumens of output, and then this has only 520 lumens of output. The UT27 800 Lumen also has more throw than its predecessor, as it has 175 yards of throw, while the previous one has 112 yards of throw. Another thing that the UT27 800 Lumen edition has over its predecessor is the battery indicator. The previous one has no battery indicator, but you can actually see your charge here on the new edition. And then looking at the headbands, there isn't really too much of a difference. The holes on the new one, the yellow one, are a little bit bigger, but either way, they're both reflective, and I really don't think you can go wrong with either selection. However, looking at the new UT27 800 Lumen, you can see the difference in both of these buttons. You can tell that the Y is elevated, so you can feel the difference. This was not included with the original UT27. Both of these feel the same to me. Both of the buttons are at equal elevation. And lastly, the only real disadvantage I would say of the new UT27 800 Lumen edition, unless you really just like the look of the original UT27, is the fact that this light, the new one, doesn't have as much runtime as its original. You can see them here on screen to compare for yourself, but in sacrifice for brightness, the UT27 800 Lumen edition has a little bit less runtime than its original, which I think that I'm okay with. However, this could be a deal breaker for some people, but I figured that it would be good to just compare and contrast them. But overall, I feel like runtime is the only thing working against the new UT27 800 Lumen. And like I said before, this takes either 3 AAA batteries or 1 HLB13000, so make sure that you plug those in, and then let's power this light up. In order to activate this light, all you have to do is long press the color that you want to activate. So if I want to activate the warm one, I will go to the yellow option on the buttons and I will hold that, and then the warm one comes on, and then to turn it off, all you have to do is hold it again. And then for the white light, it's the same thing. And then while the headlamp is off, you can double click either button, it doesn't matter, to access the red light mode. And then while you're in the red light mode, you can hit either button again, and it will access the flashing red light. And then while either light is on, you can press the opposite one to switch it to that color. So I have the warm light on right now, and then I can press the W white light button, and now it's over to white light. And then to get it back to the yellow warm light, all you have to do is click the Y. And then to increase the brightness of this light, all you have to do is click the respective color. And so I have the warm yellow light on. All I have to do is hit the Y yellow again, and it'll increase in brightness. And each light has 3 brightness levels on its own. So I just went from low to medium and then up to high, and if I were to press it again, it drops me back down to low. It's also worth mentioning that whenever you swap the color output, it always goes back to low. And so if I have this on high brightness for the warm light, whenever I swap it over to the white light, it drops down to low. And so I have to click my way back up to the high output. And then to access your turbo mode, whenever the light is on, all you have to do is double press either of these buttons. And so I double press the white, and now I'm in turbo, which has the dual output, or you can double press the Y button. But either way, it accesses the dual output turbo mode. This headlamp also has a lockout feature. To lock your light, you press these 2 buttons together for about 3 seconds, and you will see that they flash. And now, but neither of these buttons will work. It will give you a little flash, but otherwise you cannot access your light. However, something to note with this lockout feature is that whenever you change the battery, the light will not remain locked out. So let's say I lock the light right now. So it's locked out, I can't access anything. And I were to take out the battery and then put the battery back in, and then access my warm light, notice how it's not locked out. So bear that in mind. And now onto my favorite part, the specs. The red light has a 10 lumen output, whether it's constant or flashing, and then the warm and white lights have the same outputs and run times. On low of either LED, it has 100 lumens for 11 hours. And then the medium output on either LED is 280 lumens for 5.5 hours. And then the high output on either LED is 500 lumens for 2.5 hours. And then the turbo output of this headlamp is a whopping 800 lumens, and this has a runtime of 30 seconds before stepping down, with a 175-yard throw with an intensity of 6,347 candela. And while we're on the specs for this headlamp, the runtimes are super impressive for a AAA powered light. And stacking on top of this, this actually has APC technology, meaning advanced power cutoff. That means that this light has very little parasitic drain. Or in layman's terms, you can just go ahead and leave this in your closet or your glove box for up to a year, and it'll still be able to hold a charge and be able to turn on at a moment's notice. I have the dimensions and weight here for you, and as you can see, this actually has the same weight as its predecessor, which I really like. One thing that I can say about Nitecore upgrades is it keeps what works and then it gets rid of what doesn't. And the big thing for me of the first UT27 was the dual outputs and how lightweight it was. So seeing that it kept that is super nice, and as well, it's just all around compact and easy to wear on your head. This light is also IP66 water resistant and 1 meter impact resistant, meaning that no matter what trail that you blaze, this light is more than tough enough to keep up. And with all that being said, this is the end of the video on the UT27. I hope that you enjoyed watching. Please like and subscribe, as again, it really helps out the channel, and I will see y'all all in the next one.